Hi, and welcome to another Witch Doctors How To. Today we're going to talk about something that I get emails on all the time. How do I change my kickstand? We offer two different ones. We offer a black one and we offer our triple plated chrome one. Come with new pads on both of them, so you're all ready to go. People just have a hard time figuring out how to install them. So we're going to show you. The reason we have these are our lowered kickstands. So if you buy one of our lowering links, 1.5 to 2 inch, I say you really need to do the kickstand. Inch, not so much, depending on how your bike leans, but 1.5 if you lower it, or 2 inch, you definitely kind of need to go with a kickstand. So we give you two different ones, black or chrome. We also have the kickstand extensions, so when it's up and you want to hit it with your foot, we have those. We also have another video on how to install those, but let's show you how to install a kickstand on a cross country. Okay, this is not really a hard job to do. You have to be very careful, so you need to have a lot of patience. So as if you've watched any of my videos, I'm not a very patient guy. So this is one of those deals, you need some patience. Probably a couple ways to do it. I've seen on the forums a lot of guys say different ways to do it. The hard part, two things on this. One is the spring. Getting that spring on and off is pretty difficult. The other thing, and it's hard to see, I'll show you here in a minute, but up here, the bolt up in here, the kickstand's on, it's right next to the oil lines. So that's a little tricky there as well. So what we're going to do, and guys try doing this with all the floorboard and the shift link on, what I recommend doing, because it's so easy, is taking the shift link off and taking the floorboard mount out of the way. It's basically the same thing on a Vision. So the two tools you need is a 10 millimeter socket here, or a wrench, whatever, but you have to get this shifter bolt out. And then the two bolts down here that mount your floorboard bracket on, those are 8 millimeter Allen. So just take this off. It's not really hard. Take that bolt off. You might want to just put that bolt back in there or set it on the floor so you don't lose it. It's just a good idea. Take your mounts off up here. Because what you need to do, since it's a little difficult, is get yourself plenty of working room. The last thing you want to do is be fighting with this stuff because it's in your way. And like I said, since this is so easy to do, it's just crazy not to take this off. I mean, you can see literally, what, I got a minute, 2 minutes in this, and it takes it off. So that you can take your whole floorboard assembly, just take that and set it on the floor. Now you have all the room in the world here to work. Let me get that bolt out so you can see a little bit better. But now you have all the room in the world. That's your bolt you have to get out right there. Now, it looks easy enough. The problem is you have to get the bolt up. That bolt has to come up, and it's up against your oil lines. So that's kind of the trick right there. So what I tell people to do, and this is, you have to be very careful. But I take a pry bar. I put it against the bolt and against the oil line, like the metal part of the oil line. Just kind of pry that up a little bit. You can see it moving. You're not bending anything. You're not doing anything crazy. It's just, this right here is a clamp, okay? So if you want to bend that clamp up a little bit, just to give you a little bit more room, that will help. But you want to kind of just hold that line out of the way. And we'll try it. We'll see how this one works. This one's never been apart. So we will see how that comes apart. The other thing is you have this line running right here. Okay? There's a little bolt for a clamp. Just take that out. And again, this is nothing other than to just give you a little bit of working room. And it's so easy. I mean, that's so easy. And just bend that line kind of up out of the way. Now you have access to your kickstand bolt. So let me get the wrench and we'll show you how to do that. Okay, so up in the top, this is a 6 millimeter Allen wrench. Now, the one thing I like to do here, and I tell you all the time, use a socket. This one you really can't get a socket in there, so I use an Allen wrench. So you want to put a wrench, just put it in the bolt there. And underneath there's a nut. Just put your wrench on the nut. Now, what I do is I spin the wrench, not the Allen part. I just hold the Allen part just because it's easier to spin this wrench than it is to spin the Allen wrench part. And that nut isn't really on there very tight. It comes off pretty easy. And nothing comes flying apart or anything. Just take your nut off. This has a lot of grease on it, so if you want to, wipe that off a little bit. So basically your bolt is ready to come out now. You can push it up. What I do is I kind of jiggle this to get it free, and then I push up on the bottom. So you can see the bolt. You can see that bolt coming up. So the big problem now is you're up against the spring. The spring tension is what's holding this all together right now. That's why everything seems really tight. Now, I've tried all kind of tricks, and I really haven't found anything that works really good. One trick that somebody told me, and it does help, it absolutely helps, is take a screwdriver and put it in the spring. Just give it a little twist, and you can put washers or some dimes or some pennies or something. You can put that in there. That'll keep the spring expanded, so when you put it up, it's a little bit looser. And it absolutely does work. I can't say it makes the job that much easier, but if you need a little bit of help there, that's where you can get some help. The one thing you want to do is you want to put the dimes on this side so that when this goes up, they don't hit the motor. You want them down on the bottom side, so make sure you do that. So what I try to do, and again, this is one of those where you fight against it. I just kind of start, you want to put the stand up, just kind of start prying the bolt out. Now, you're going to see right here where you're getting really close to the oil line. So if you have to almost pry a little bit on the oil line just to get it out and kind of work this bolt up. But you'll see it's coming. There you go. You see it cocked crooked? That's because the tension's still on here. It's really tight. But you can see it goes past the oil line. You just want to be careful you don't break that. So don't get in there and start fat fingering and getting upset and prying. But it's really tight. There we go. It's coming a little bit more. So there's your bolt, okay? So the kickstand's still on there pretty tight. It's against the spring. So all you got to do is hold it and just watch your fingers. Just pull it off the mount and it'll come right down. You can take the spring off. If you look under here, it might be a little bit hard to see, but down under here is where that spring is. It's just kind of hooked in a hole. So you can either take it off under here, or I like to just leave it in there and take it off on the kickstand part. You just got to kind of loop it off of there, and you're good to go. And I still hold the spring so it doesn't fall out of in the top. Put that kickstand aside. Just do the same thing. Hook that in there. Now, what I do, I'm not going to do it right now for the video, but you want to make sure you have a little grease in there. So smear a little grease and pop this back on. Again, it's going to be hard. It will not line up because that spring is holding. So this is where you have a helper. You kind of work that up on there. This is where you got to have some patience. So let me shut the camera off. I'll get some grease in there and I'll come right back. Okay, so what I did during the break was I started putting those dimes in there like I told you. So all you do is you just, you got to kind of have strong fingers. Just put it in a crack and push it and twist the dime around. You don't have to necessarily do every single spot, but just get some in there. Just push them around just like that. So I got the kickstand up on the mount here. So you just kind of get it up on there. So now we're going to close the kickstand. So now you can see it's pretty wobbly. If you look at the dimes, you can see how that looks. Get your kickstand up on there. jiggle it around a little bit. The bolt goes right in. Actually, that was a little bit harder than I thought it would be, but the bolt will drop right in. If you didn't do those dimes, you would fight with that bolt so bad you would be cussing at me. So all you gotta do, now that you've done that, put the bolt back in. Tighten the nut up. But the dime trick is definitely a lifesaver. I've tried to use washers, you know, just find some washers in an old coffee can. It's not the same. The washers, are, at least all the ones I had, are too thick, and then you're trying to get them in the spring and it's not working. And what ends up happening, you bend the coils in the spring, and then the spring doesn't have the same tension. So once you get that on, you're gonna put your little line back on here. Don't forget to do that. Now I like to go back up in here in this bracket, just bend it back down a little bit, just so that oil line has a gap between there. You don't want it rubbing on the motor. It could rub through from vibration. So just make sure that you bend that back down just a hair so it's not rubbing. It's kind of important. You want to pull your kickstand back down, and you can see some of the dimes actually just fall out. And as you're pulling them out, the spring will get a little tighter. So there, just take them all out. Now the kickstand works just like it should. It snaps up, you can see, snaps up with all the right force. So once you get through dealing with that spring, that's the part where you really need the patience, but the dime trick will really make the difference for you. So basically, that's all there is to it. We're just going to go and put our floorboard back on. Now one thing you want to do that I've done plenty of times myself, not paying attention, make sure when you got your shift pedal, you put it above, you know, you kind of hold it up a little bit. Put it above your crash bar if you have a crash bar. If not, you'll be trying to go like this and get stuff fitted. Make sure you just kind of hold that up there. If the bolt seems really tight when you're trying to put it in like this, chances are it's because the weight of the mount's on there. Just lift the mount up a little bit and the bolt will screw right in. So you want to just get those bolts, you know, again, not tight. Just get them so they're holding it good. Get them close. Put your shifter bolt back in. You might want to put a little red Loctite. I don't know if you can see it on there. We've already put some on there. Put a little red Loctite on there so that doesn't vibrate out. Tighten that bolt up. Go back and tighten up your mounts. Make sure they're snug. You know, do one and then do the other one and then come back. Do that one, get that one tight and then just come back. There you go. That's how it is to install a kickstand. Not that big a deal if you follow my little tips about moving the oil line and the dimes. You'll be on your way to a better riding bike with a better, safer, when you park it, it'll have the right lean angle, and you'll be all set. Plus the chrome looks really cool. We also offer a chrome spring if you wanted to do the ultimate in cleaning this up. We offer a chrome spring. Thanks for watching Witch Doctors.